And we are live, everybody. Welcome. My name is Trent, aka TD. I'm joined by my special co-host Coleman from Warsaken, and we have Anders, aka Imakestupidgames, the OIG Candidate extraordinaire, as our guest. Gentlemen, how are you this afternoon?
Excellent.
I'm good, thank you.
I'm happy to be on this side of the table. I'm sitting next to you today as the co-host rather than across from the table. I mean, I know it's pretty casual when we hang out, but it's nice to be in this seat and kind of have a different role today.
Hell yeah, man. I'm so excited that you were able to do this. And yeah, that we're doing it. I think it's going to be a banging interview. We'll see. We'll see if we can live up to that expectation. So first off, let's start with intros. For anybody who doesn't know Coleman, Coleman, can you tell me just a little bit about yourself, your history on wax, and what makes you qualified to even actually be here on this interview today? Like, do you have any particular skill sets or business life experience that would be a positive contribution to the assessment that we're making here?
Yeah, like you said, I'm Coleman. I'm on the Warsaken team. I'm the chief of marketing and community. I've been in wax for years, started as a collector and as a gamer, and then brought the Warsaken card game, which was being developed off the blockchain into the blockchain on wax. Wax is one of the prominent members of the wax. Warsaken is one of the prominent members of the wax community. We want to see the blockchain succeed. So we as a team have a vested interest in seeing the best people running the show behind the scenes as the OIGs and blockchain producers. And so I'm not sure whether or not the team will actually stake and vote and all that. But I'm going to take what I find out, what I have back to the team. We'll discuss it and figure out what we're going to do with our, the wax that we have. But longtime wax holder, and obviously big interest as part of a team on the project, a project in the blockchain.
Hell yeah. And what about work experience, life experience, leadership experience? Can I ask what you do professionally?
Yeah, I'm a firefighter paramedic, so a lot of high stress, it doesn't stress
superhero
situations. Doesn't necessarily qualify me in certain, certain this role, maybe a lot of life experience there. I also run a publishing company. I'm an author. I also do editing and publishing. So I've got a lot of that. What makes me successful there is networking. So and I think that's what a lot of this comes down to, is like all of us getting together, working, figuring out who the best people are for certain roles, because it's a small space. Everybody knows each other. And so trying to figure out which of us is the best one to put the foot forward and take the leadership, I think.
Right. So I heard, understand. We're gonna have. I don't know if you know this, Anders. We have soundbite intros. I just turned them on. It doesn't matter how formal the interview is. We got to have our sounds.
I ran a mortgage. I owned a mortgage company and ran before I got into the mortgage company for a decade. So a lot of experience. Government regulation, very highly regulated industry. You got to be
professionalism, understanding chain of command,
right? Just making sure all the licenses and everything is in place, much less dealing with the public, putting a good face forward, making sure every I is dotted and T is crossed there. So a lot of as far as regulation goes, as a mortgage broker, I have a lot of experience there.
Right. Excellent. Okay. So then I say that, wow, that's a super impressive resume, and more than qualified to ask some tough questions and make some serious assessments of our candidate here. So speaking of our candidate, Mr. Anders, aka Imakestupidgames, what can you tell us about your entry into wax? When was that? I guess the same. Goddamn, I don't know how I forgot the questions I just asked. Everything I just asked Coleman, I'm asking you now. Start just with provide a brief background of your history in Web3 and what brought you to wax.
Yeah, so I used to be a CTO at a company that did AR and VR stuff and made several apps for that. I knew about crypto stuff, so me and the boss of the company, we started mining some Ethereum.
How many employees? I think that's an important question.
At first, it was just me and the boss, and
Okay.
we ended up with, I think at the most we were like 10 or 15 people in between there. We had an office in Oslo, and pretty cool, and just fun stuff, and making the app, and we made VR simulations and stuff. And we achieved quite a lot with just a tiny team. It was pretty local, like we made very
Sure.
Norwegian things, but it was fun. As I said, we started mining Ethereum in his garage, and I started. We went hard on that stuff, and I started making smart contracts in Ethereum.
Yeah, man, Solidity.
Yep, and quite quickly realized that I couldn't do what I couldn't make stupid games with Ethereum. It was just way too costly and clunky to work with. And then I met someone that watched me make games on the stream, and we made a little game called Eleblob together, where I programmed the game and we made some cards and stuff. And then that turned into Immersis down the road. And then stuff happened with that, and
we'll touch on that here in a bit. Let me ask you this: what in between the CT, I guess, what would you say you do professionally? Like, what's your profession?
Well,
would you
since
say
I
like
was
tech
like
guy or software dev, or
since I was pretty much 6 years old, I've been calling myself a game designer. I learned myself to code from I was like 12. I started with some ActionScript and Flash, and tried a little bit of C++ in middle school, and then I ended up with C# and completely fell in love with C# and Unity. So I'm kind of game designer first, and I learned to code and develop because no one could do it the way I wanted and as quick as I wanted to do stuff. And I guess now I'm more of a developer than a designer, I guess. They go kind of hand in hand.
Awesome, man. Awesome. All right, and I'm gonna skip myself on the questions because everybody knows that like I'm not qualified. I just keep falling upward somehow. It's a phenomena I can't explain. So we'll move on to.
I'll give you a pass on that one, but any other questions that go around the table, we're going to hold you to. You got to answer any other things you pass around.
I worked at Dell for 12 years. I was in a leadership role, what's called an L3, if you're familiar with the structure of corporate. And it was, in fact, that it was very corporate. I don't know if y'all have ever, if anybody's worked for like a Fortune 50 company out there. It's very different than the service industry, which I'd worked in for a very long time prior. And I learned a lot. Very fast, which was very opportune at that time because they were growing. And, I was there for 12 years, and then now I'm doing this full time. That's all I got for you. But here, let me circle back to Anders. I have one extra question for you. What can you say is your motivation or your personal background or any relevant or professional experience that has driven you to pursue this candidacy for OIG?
Because first of all, there was a lot of people that asked me to do it. It's Mr. Token Girls, John here, that nominated me in the end. He kind of just woke up one day and said, "You have to be nominated." I nominated.
Oh, really?
Him. Yeah. So he's the one that pushed for it.
Shout out Token Girls LV.
Yeah, he's the art director in Pixagon. But yeah, I kind of always wanted to do something because I think I see I could do a lot of stuff in there and streamline stuff. I think that the work that has been done with it until now is what Wax has needed up until now, but I think now Wax has to kind of shift in a little bit of a different direction and focus way more on user friendliness and reaching out and transparency and kind of solidifying all the stuff that is already there and make it more obvious and open and simple to understand and all of that. And I think that's stuff that I'm good at. Basically, juicing is what we call it in video games, amplifying the input and everything.
Nice.
And yeah, I think I've been in Wax for a really long time. And the thing is, I really, really like Wax. I remember with Elblo, we were one of the first to do blends and stuff. It was like brand new. So I don't know, almost 3 years now, maybe more. So Wax was pretty small when we got in there.
Yeah, same.
I remember you were around there all the time as well. So it's cool to see the old people that's been around all the time.
Just let me let the audience know really quick, as y'all drop these amazing questions, I'm going to just star them, and we will get back to them. Coleman and I kind of have a little outline of how we should move through this interview, and I didn't put community questions anywhere, although it needs to be in there because we also sent out a form. But Coleman, you want to grab the next question or grill?
I want to just really quick, like a 2-minute rundown to talk about what the OIG is and what it does, just to catch our.
Yeah.
Just a quick summary, a 2-minute summary on what the office is and what they do for the Wax blockchain.
Yeah, excellent. And we definitely have those links. So that was a question that I asked in BD stream, though I knew the answer to it. I like to ask questions I know the answer to sometimes. Strategic. But of course I lost now the link, so 1 second. Anders, what can you tell us about the role of Office of Inspector General, which is what OIG stands for? And what's your understanding of the job requirements and like the day-to-day?
Well, first off, the main responsibility is like scoring the guilds and making sure the BPs play nice and operate nice and kind of interface between them and scoring them and all of that stuff. And I know that over time they've basically got more and more responsibility as well. So like the Vax lab stuff has also become a responsibility, more of a responsibility for the OIG and the IGs. And it's also talking to the Vax team between all of them and kind of communicating clearly there. And now they're also even entering into doing conferences and stuff. So to me, it seems like there's a lot to do. And there's writing documentation and making smart contracts and basically doing all you can to make Vax better. I think should be the stated goal, if you want to label it simply. But it seems like it's just a growing number of tasks, and that's one of the things I want to do is kind of make it very clear what the OIG should do and delegate out a bit more, because I've been talking to some of them and there seems to be a bunch of stuff. And the thing is, like, a lot of it isn't that visible to the public either. The conferences and the Vax labs is getting a bit more visible, and it's public, but a lot of the stuff that happens with the BPs and the guilds is kind of hidden in a way on GitHub, and most end users won't go on GitHub. So I think like that's been kind of a confusion for a lot of people. What is an OIG even? Why do we elect them and stuff like that? So yeah,
Great.
A lot of tasks.
Yeah. So you mentioned the chief task is to screen the block producers and the guilds, and so those are the people that are running the blockchain. People and big process. I've heard some people say that there's some too much subjectivity in rating these guilds as they go through, and I imagine we're gonna get deeper into that, but appreciate the answer and kind of catching everyone up to where we're at.
Awesome. Yeah, and I shared a couple links there. So the first is, I believe, the GitHub OIG link, and that's going to be one of the entry points to all of the data and information. Should you go searching for it, you'll find the guild reports, and really it's a tree to almost everything. I know that they had used Notion and switched away from it, though I believe there are still like one or two maybe relevant Notion assets. And the yeah, I guess these are those here. The actual by criteria of what the OIGs do. And I want to just point something out because I keep hearing the same thing over and over about the technical requirements of the position, which we'll touch on that in a little bit. But just briefly, I just want to scroll to the bottom here. And if I'm not mistaken, it's like the last thing. So the scoring table, right? And so this is one of the main duties, right? Is doing these reviews, and I just want to make note that 23% is the technical operations, product development, and ecosystem development is the other 75, and we'll circle back to that. I just wanted to, while I had this open, just have you guys just take a look at that because we'll examine what that means. Oh shit! And I wasn't sharing my screen again.
We can see it in the background, but we're going to come back to that. I think that is a good point. Something worth circling back to. How does one campaign for this in general? Like, what's the normal campaign process? What's your campaign process for getting out there in a decentralized space? It's an issue that all projects face, and anyone who wants to make a loud noise in a decentralized space faces the same problem.
Well, for me, I think in a way it's not that decentralized because the BPs have so much power. So you can just go on the voting side and just like pick the top 5 BPs and appeal to them. And that's kind of natural because before the OIG stuff was more just for the OIGs and the BPs and the guilds. But now that it's for everyone, I think that needs to change a little bit, get refined a little bit. And my way of campaigning is just kind of doing persistent and just I'm doing 3 interviews now in 4 days and just talking up here and show off myself, I guess, and let people ask questions. And I think if I'm going to be completely honest, I don't think I have a giant shot of winning this election, but I'm going to keep building up until the January election. I just keep building on no matter what, and stay in it, and just keep showing that I'm someone that actually develops, and show that I'm going to do stuff in VAX in what I think is VAX's best interest, no matter what happens.
Great answer. Thank you. I want to highlight this comment really quickly. We can maybe circle back to this. The guilds have 1% of the total voting power. Right now, not even 40% of the votes are coming from the guilds. I'm going to need some data to circle back to that. I just wanted to just post that up there.
Yeah, it's good to see you, K for General, in the audience here.
Yeah.
One of the other candidates and the person's currently sitting in the role, and a longtime wax person as well. So good to see you here. Glad you're.
Yeah, thanks for joining. Awesome. All right. What else do we got for you? Campaign strategy talked about. All right. Well, since we're talking about KFIR, or to KFIR, let's talk about KFIR and your opponents. So your main main opponents in the OIG campaign is Danish Anders, another Anders. There's everybody's named Anders. Danish Crypto is what he goes by, and then obviously the incumbent is Kafer. How well do you know these two individuals, and what can you offer us, or what can you speak to about their perspective on their policies and or positions within the Wax ecosystem, and how are you different? I know this is a huge question. I'm sorry, I can break it down for you again. How well do you know your opponents? What's your perspective on their policies, and how are you different?
We can start with Kafer since he's in there. I've been talking a lot to Kafer lately because we have a Vax Labs grant, and my impression of Kafer is really good. Really, he seems very hardworking, and kind of as a dev, I see
the
stuff that I
most
like.
hardworking I've seen.
Pretty much.
Far. Yeah.
And it's clear that he's got the skill. I think that makes me more excited for if I don't get it this time, but going up next in half a year. So it was November, October instead of January. I think that would be really fun to get to work with Kafer. So yeah, nothing bad to say there. And
well, it's not necessarily that's not necessarily what obviously we see that in politics a lot, where you're bashing opponents and taking low blows, but maybe just more specifically, what are some things that you know about Kafer's positions or policies or opinions that differ from yours for any reason, for better, just happen to be different? He likes Coke, you like Pepsi, that kind of a thing.
Well, I think since I kind of am very heavy into game development, I think that's going to be my strength is more. I'm not talking about gamifying everything, but more the way I want to simplify stuff and make it open and transparent and kind of surface level up stuff. And instead of having everything the way it's been more behind the scenes stuff, and like having documentation on GitHub and on dev sites, I kind of want to surface things a lot more and show it off and let all of Vax know what the OIG is all about more, and yeah, really break it down and simplify it. So I think like my thing is more like the refinement thing and taking the cool stuff that is already there, because that's why I'm on Vax. There's so much cool stuff here, and just kind of tying it even better together maybe, and polishing it up the ways that I can, and make sure that it gets further out, so we kind of reach further with Vax. I would say that's my main abilities, and I'm also very much about like breaking stuff down to like it's just its core elements and taking away the stuff that isn't needed, amplifying the stuff that is needed, and kind of almost min-maxing. Yeah, new websites and kind of polish up, make it appealing to look at, and probably gamify it a little bit.
Okay, and really quick, let me just, I know I said we weren't going to do the audience questions, but there's no better opportunity to ask this one from Crazy Pet from Peoria. Ask, what positive things can you say about Kafer? And then we'll do the same thing, follow it up with Danish next. What are some positive things? I mean, you said a lot already. I just wanted to get this question out, but go ahead.
Well, there's so many positive things. I think he's extremely hardworking. That was quite apparent right away when I started talking to him, and the way he reached out, and we've been talking quite a bit about stuff. When I just had the Vax grant in on Vax Labs, and very easy and simple to talk to, and a good developer, I would say. Which I like. I like good developers.
Only a good developer, not a great developer.
Well, my scale goes from not developer to good developer. There's just tons of layers downwards.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
I'll add in just full disclosure. I've had some personal interactions with Kay. For always found him to be super personable and professional. So yeah, nothing bad for me to say about him either. And like I said, I know he's been around Wax for 6 years, which a lot of people didn't know Wax had been around that long. And he's been in the trenches.
Kafer and I have an interesting dynamic. I think I annoy the shit out of him, but I think he also knows that my intentions are always for the betterment of what we're doing here. Awesome. Let's see what the next question was. Or Coleman, you want to follow up on this line of questioning?
Let's. Are we ready? Oh wait, we didn't talk about the other Anders, did we? Wouldn't talk about.
Oh no, right, yeah. Sorry, yeah. Hit us off with what you know about Danish.
Yeah, Anders Eskildsen is the other candidate.
I've been in some spaces with him. I know that he's very big on decentralization, and he's been basically in every election, which he has tenacity, and he's extremely passionate about it as well. He seems like a good developer as well. I would say that he might be a bit hot-tempered at times, because I think every space I've been in, there's been kind of ended in hot discussions about decentralization and values about crypto and all of that. Other than that, he's from Denmark. I'm from Norway. And
are y'all mortal enemies? Or
well, the Danish tried to occupy it for a while, and they're the real weak Vikings.
Yes. So. Coleman, as the worst they could vet, what do you know about the Danish occupation, or the?
I know nothing about it. I mean, I have a history minor as part of my college education is a history minor, and I don't know anything. I'm sorry to say I don't know anything about it. Scandinavia is a large hole in my history knowledge. So.
And what positive? I guess you said some positive things about it. What policies do y'all share and differ in, if any? You said he's big on decentralization. Do you agree with? Do you believe in decentralization? Let me ask it that way. Like, do you think it's a real thing, or it's like a unicorn?
It's kind of a unicorn, sort of. There's good stuff about it, of course. But it's really hard to achieve true decentralization. And I think I agree with a lot of what Danish Anders has to say, but I think he goes a bit further than me on most of it. And yeah, it's all about the transparency and unity, which I'm all about as well, but maybe in a bit other ways. I think more. It's more about just refining stuff and bringing it together. I would say we share a lot of it, but he just takes it further than me, I would say.
Yeah. For any of our viewers who are just listening, let me just go ahead and read both opponents. I guess this is our summaries or intros. Anders E, powering Wax through transparency and unity. Hello, Wax community. I'm Danish Crypto. I'm excited to run for the OIG. My goal is simple: to empower Wax through transparency and unity. Now, does he mean the unity, or unity? That's the question.
All of Wax is going to run in the Unity engine.
Lowercase unity, I think we're talking about in this.
Okay. Transparency is crucial for trust and growth. As your OIG representative, I'll ensure information flows freely and everyone has access to updates. I'll create inclusive community spaces for open communication and collaboration so everyone feels valued and involved. Unity, there's the word again, is our strength. I'll bridge the gap between stakeholders by involving the community in decision making. Together, we will rebuild a sense of togetherness and purpose. I'll highlight the OIG's work through regular updates and awareness campaigns, fostering trust and confidence within the community. Believe in our collective potential. Support me as we revitalize WAX, inspire innovation, and create an inclusive ecosystem. Thank you for your support. Let's embark on this transformative journey together. He's not talking SDKs, else he says. I don't know. You mentioned it a lot in there. And there's Mr. Danish Cryptos. Why don't y'all go give him a follow? And
I'm gonna detour here a little bit because I've heard a lot of some discussion about if you go to the WAX OIG website, which is just oig.wax.io, they basically say it's our job to screen screen the guilds. I mean, they keep it pretty simple. And a lot of people have said they need a new website. I've heard a lot of people saying we as a WAX community need more updates. What do you feel the OIGs are doing enough and this is their role, what it says here on the website, which is super straightforward, or do you think there is more that the OIGs need to be doing in the space, kind of expanding their power and growing as a role in the WAX ecosystem?
Well, I think what we've seen now is that a lot of people have been like noticing that the elections haven't really been talked about that much until after the nominations was on. It was LC2 that kind of started really pushing it, and which was great. That was kind of how a lot of people discovered it first. I think that she just kept talking about it and just saying we need.
And she's killing it on Twitter right now.
Yeah, she's also giving out NFTs to people that won't, which is great. So yeah, and I think like the site it's kind of missing a bunch of stuff. I would say like it's simple, but it's a bit too simple. Exactly what you're looking at here. I think, there needs to be. I would simplify it in a bit of a different way myself. Like it was just said, like a lot of stuff is written on Notion and Medium, which is like down in the corner over there. So yeah, I would make sure that people get to know this more and be able to deep dive more easily into stuff without having to go to GitHub, because GitHub is for developers. So yeah, I think like any information has a good site as well. It has more information, but it's
as far as the role itself, does it need to expand and do more in WAX? Like, should the OIG have to do with recruiting and bringing people to the blockchain and making onboarding easier and things like that, or is the role what's already defined as the role, is that a good lane for the office to stay in?
I would try to. The thing I want to do is like automate and simplify a lot of the tasks that are done and kind of trim away the fat so that more time can be spent on figuring out better ways to get people into the WAX space and figuring out better ways to highlight it. I don't know if it's the OIG's job to necessarily do the exact things, but more like rouse the community around what we should do and kind of point to the good people that are already doing that. Like if you have a great game on WAX, like make sure that they get known in a way. Another thing I want to do is I want to bring this is something that has been discussed a little bit, but I'm going to bring in my own team to kind of have someone I can delegate to, which has been discussed if that's a possibility. And for certain tasks, apparently this has been done before with great success. So I want to see like how can we delegate more, and maybe if there's things that can be delegated to completely different teams and have more of committees. I would try looking into doing that and kind of in a way spread the power more around in the spirit of decentralization, but also streamline everything as much as possible.
That's a great answer, and I did have something to add to it, but now I'm totally goldfished on this hyperlink that I'm going to go to. So hopefully it comes back, but if it doesn't, it doesn't. Coleman, what do you have to add to that?
I think you're muted, maybe.
I am muted.
Right.
I think it's something that a lot of people don't really understand whose role is what. You hear people all the time saying, well, Wax should do this. Wax should do this. Like, and is that the Wax blockchain? Is that the OIG? Is that the block producers? Like, whose role is what? And you can see, as Kafer pointed us here, there's more details here on the Notion side than there are on the main side. And I'm not saying that I'm not blaming anyone for the current side. It's simple, and I know a lot of people have talked about it, and that's just what it is. But yeah, this is more detailed than what we see on the other side. So this is kind of what some more detailed on what the OIGs currently are expected to do.
This is a good example of something I would do then, is that I would remove maybe the Notion site or the old OIG site and merge them together and have that information, because the Notion link for this is like a tiny N in the corner. And if you don't know what Notion is and recognize the logo, you don't know what you're really clicking on. And I think in crypto, people should know not to click on sketchy things.
Right.
So I would just bring this way more front and center, and not do double information on like here's a tiny bit and here's a little bit more and here's a little bit more, but like allow you to deep dive where you want to deep dive and have it more consolidated in single places.
I remembered what I wanted to say. You said something about something not being the OIG's job, and I know that in all of my work experience, there was one common theme that I found across them all was that the person who says this isn't my job is not the person that you want there, by your side. Anybody who says that, they don't have the work ethic that meets my expectations. I think one of the greatest qualities of a leader is never asking somebody to do something that you haven't done yourself before, right? And so, like, to say, for example, in like the service industry, somebody went into the bathroom and threw up all over an entire stall, right? Like, I'm not going to ask the busboy to go clean that if I've never done it myself. If I've never done it myself, guess what? This is my opportunity to do it and to show and to lead by that example, right? I feel like I've heard a lot. That's not the OIGs, or that's not the CEOs, or just this passing of the buck. And in my opinion, that's not the right attitude to have. Do you agree or disagree with that? Because the other side of that coin would be lack of delegation that leads to, in a healthy work environment. What are your thoughts on that?
For me, if there's something new and someone asks me to do it, I'm either going to point them specifically at where they should go and stuff. But I think if people are asking the wrong person the questions or to do something continuously, then maybe you should make it a bit more obvious what the roles are and what people should do, and again, streamline. Most of the time I really like doing new stuff. So for me, I would take a shot at most stuff. And yeah, I think especially as OIG, like your purpose is in a way to direct people to the right place and help them kind of no matter what when it comes to Axe. That would be my view at it, at least.
Yeah.
What power does the OIGs have to steer the Wax blockchain? Obviously, they rate the guilds, but other than that, like, what firm power do they have to drive this car?
Well, I think one of the things that I think is very important is Wax Labs, which that's the OIG and EIGs that write and review all the proposals. And I don't know how many people know about Wax Labs, but it's a place where if you're making something that is for the good of Wax and is a free project in a sense, you can ask for a grant at Wax Labs, and that is something that really shapes Wax, because that's where a lot of the tools that we use on Wax comes from. And I think a tool like that is really really great. Like we're working on an app now called Mixing on Prism, which we just got a grant from Wax Labs, and that's
Yeah.
such a big help because now we
I
can
still haven't looked
visualize
at
it.
it yet. We've
Now
talked
we can
about it. I still haven't looked at it. I'm gonna go look at that proposal. It's baller, dude.
proposal 132, I think. But yeah, like stuff like this is kind of, this directly shapes Wax in a way, because this is where you get the important tools forward, and yeah, this is something that they write, from what my understanding, Kiefer can correct me if I'm wrong, but they write kind of a recommendation of which projects should be given money, and then the Vax team reviews that recommendation and goes back and forth with it.
This is one of the really interesting things about this whole election process to me, is that we're so new as a blockchain in the ecosystem. It's like a government trying to find its feet. Nobody knows. Like when I'm in the United States, when the United States government was founded, states and federal were like arguing, no, that's our job. No, that's our job. And everybody was like kind of define who did what. And it feels like we're there with in the Wax blockchain. And there's a lot of things people want done. Like I've said, we've got all of these transactions, the most used blockchain in the world, yet nobody knows who Wax is. And quote unquote, nobody's on Wax, compared to other blockchains. And so whose job is it to, I guess I'll ask you that question. In fact, TD, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Whose job is it, Kiefer, if you want to weigh on this, whose job is it to make it so that the most used blockchain in the world gets more visibility than what we currently have?
You want to go first on that, Anders?
Yeah. Well, I think up until now, that hasn't been the OIG's role that much, but I think now it should be more giving recommendation, at least, to where we should go and get more users. That's again why I'm on Vax. It's because Vax is so far ahead of almost all the other chains. Like we have stuff like blending and pack opening that we have had for such a long time. It's stuff that right now they're getting really really bad simple versions of it on Ethereum and Polygon. And yeah, there's so much cool stuff about Wax, and I think right now is the time for Wax to kind of start really really growing and showing it off and getting more people in. And the way to do that is make it simpler to understand everything and get the whole space kind of moving in that direction. And there's all about the transparency and unity thingy, where make it very clear what's happening with the entire chain, and get everyone, even though we have our differences and maybe not completely agree on everything, we should be able to kind of all push Vax forward. So yeah, and I think the ways to do that is highlight the great projects. And to me personally, like on Vax, we should highlight more of the things that make Vax unique. And to me, that's like you can have actual real games on Vax that functions like normal non-NFT games. That's something you can do right now on Vax, and highlight that even more, and show off how polished some of the things we have, like the pack openings and blends, and like show how much we blow the other chains off the water in a way, and start building up towards being in the same league as them, because I think we're far beyond them. So yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff that can be done here.
And Kiefer stole my answer. I'm going to let him say it first, though. The last thing he says there, it's a group effort. We should all, if you're invested in this chain, and not necessarily financially invested, if you have a sweat equity investment, you're just here because you have such strong friendships and rapport that you've built up online that you couldn't possibly be without them, or you have a huge financial investment, or you're building a project, whatever it is, you need to be out there promoting it, or doing something for the betterment of the chain, right? And one of the things that I can say that I need improvement in is well, I mean, there's no other way to say it, like just negativity, right? Because negativity begets negativity. I think we all know that, right? Um, and it's really easy to, especially when there's a bear market and people were, had left their jobs thinking that they have this new career in crypto and NFTs, and then have to go back to work. Like that sucks. Um, Counting on that supplemental income for through 2021 and then hitting 2022 and you're making what you made in a day over the course of the entire year, right? That will get people just depressed, right? That's why I call it the depression money, right? And so being cognizant of how easily negativity can spread. I've said this, I talked with a calculator in our Discord about Telegram because I call it a cesspool, right? And he thought I was referring to one specific channel, and I wasn't. I was referencing two things. First, the fact that bots can just pull you into group DMs and blow you up your phone and it's buzzing. And that was my first turnoff. But then just the way I saw that people talked to each other or knew people there as opposed to in Discord was a pretty, there was a dichotomy there. I've seen people say some horrible things, joking or not, to people just looking to get help in Telegram. And I can't say that I've ever seen that in Discord. Not that I can remember. And so I feel like a culture that needs to be looked at, right? Do you agree or disagree with my opinion and assessment there? And if so, what would you do to change it?
I personally, I hate Telegram because I dislike that it's just one long chain of messages.
You got my vote. Where's the thing at?
And it's like, it's just one long chain of messages. And if you want to keep up with it, you have to be on there all day. And then you get just dropped into stuff. And as BMAC just said, like there's assholes on Discord as much as Telegram, but I think since you get just like tiny snapshots on Telegram, they become more apparent to me. But I think at the same time, it's like doesn't really matter what space you're discussing stuff in. I like Discord. I know some people hate Discord and love Telegram, whatever. As to negative communities, I think a lot of them have
just to be clear, I'm part of. I've been a part of the problem in several instances. Because like when I go on Twitter, if I go on Twitter, like somebody just needs to take my keys and never let me Twitter drive again. But so yeah, I just want to make sure that I'm not pointing fingers here. So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, but I think a lot of the negativity I see around is often it has some basis in reality, but people are sad about stuff, I guess, and right. It's a bear market. It's hard for everyone, I would say. So people get more negative, and if you have a lack of transparency, I think that's when you breed conspiracies. Now myself, I think conspiracies are cool because that's great for storytelling and stuff. So I love reading all of that. I don't necessarily believe in everything, but I think most of it has a root in reality, and most of the time it's just because people don't know the real answer. And I think we need places that have the real answer, and it's like, here's the actual thing that is going on. So I think a lot of that negativity is just bear market plus lack of transparency / simplicity, and some people are just assholes, I guess.
They're usually from the East Coast. You can tell.
Yeah, whether transplants or not, that's where they originally come from usually.
Yeah, man. Yeah, dude. Those New Yorkers, New Jersey, the worst. Scourge of the earth. I have a question for you that's not on our little lineup here, and I just thought of it as I was scrolling through here, looking at the amounts, and it's so I know that Wapaka is amazing dev. y'all probably all know him if you're devs building Wax on Edge. 15K, what he's built is worth well more than that. He's already put well more than that amount in there. I don't know enough about C++ to comment on that. And then I see yours, Pixigon Prism, and bro, I was expecting this to be a lot higher than what it is, the requested amount. I don't know enough about what's been done, hasn't been done, deliverables and all that, but from what I saw, the little bit that I saw, I feel like I just expected it to be higher. And then when I scroll up just a bit, and I'm not bashing on anything or anybody here, but when I see streamlining the proposal submission process, improving reviewer submitter communications, and refreshing the brand to be in line with other Wax properties by Detroit Funds, who I know had just gone into a collaborative deal, right, with a non-block producer who can help them get points for a product in the ecosystem. And I see them putting in this type of a requested amount. I don't even know if Detroit was making top 21. And so my first question to you would be, if I'm not mistaken, and I'd have to go back through, but I swore I saw something about BP's working collaboratively on a larger project, but only getting half of the points. What happens when it's how do you feel about it, right? When it's a BP that could have or should have been doing the requirements to make the top 21 aren't, and then happen to pick up, just get, be lucky enough to grab a project that needs API access or whatever the case may be. And then essentially, I don't want to use the word leech, but I can't think of anything else. They're kind of both leeching off of each other at that point. And I can't say that that's, there's like two instances of it. And I have a very deep respect for both of the projects in both of those instances, but I can't say that I can agree with, like, everybody else is building their own shit. Like, why aren't you, and why do you get to just, use somebody else's project as your point system? Does that make sense?
Sort of. I think there was multiple questions in there.
Yeah, sorry.
Think of how to answer that. I think, first of all, I think collaborating and doing stuff together is really, really good and should be
right. Mm-hmm.
awarded in a way. When people do bigger projects together, like making a score system, that's really cool. And I think, well, the BPs are kind of, their purpose is to do these kind of things already in a way. I don't know if they're double dipping or leeching, as you said, because if there's a system for this, they should be able to utilize it as everyone else. So yeah,
I understand that, Kiefer. Well, my question would be is not so much about whether this number is right. My question would be like, is this number right? And is this number right? And if not, then why is that? Because I feel like this number is where it is because it's
well, the numbers here are set by the people that ask for the grant. So I asked for 18,000.
Right. I know that.
I'm a designer and a developer. I'm not a businessman. I probably went way too low, or I don't know. I just put a number.
Right. So, but
I don't know, Kiefer.
There's an integrity
thing there. The hard truth. Could I ask for more, Kiefer?
Yeah, like what? Like is the, I don't even know if that's an option. I've never submitted a Wax Labs proposal, but like, let's say that like I historically undervalue everything that I do, and I would probably undervalue a proposal as well. But let's say that I realized that it was entirely more than I had anticipated, and the costs were skyrocketing. Do I get to say, hey, this was about a third of what I really needed? I need the rest.
Yeah, I think for me, the reason why I put that number personally is because I just think purely, how much time do I think I need to develop this, and add a little bit of overhead on top of it. I don't really think about what's the
Right.
I don't basically what is the value for Vax if this thing gets made, and then base the price on that. I base it on man hours, basically, on myself working. I think that's a business person would kind of do it the other way around, I guess.
Yeah.
But for me, I feel like what I ask for is fair on that. And I think like Vax Labs, a redoing of the website is sorely needed. I don't know if that number is too high. Maybe that's more the right number. I should probably be in that range myself, but whatever.
Yeah.
But I've seen project come back and like if we ask for money to develop Prism, just to show, basically have a Vax wallet in on your mobile phone that can show off your NFTs in a cooler way. I'm sure that we could just stack on and like, next grant is for marketing or whatever. I don't know if you want to do that, but yeah, you can just read what Kepa said. Yeah, I hate money too, Kepa.
I think
I just
a lot
want
of
to develop.
what you both are saying, I think Wax tends to, for some reason, a lot of people I've seen on Wax are like that too, where they're not the type of people that when you build a business, you want to go charge as much as you can for your sprocket, right? Or whatever you're making, whatever the market will bear, that's what you want to charge. And I think a lot of people in Wax are passionate and talented, but I don't think we have the greatest business people in Wax. I think we lack that. And so a lot of the projects that are super passionate will go so far, but because they don't have a good business, the makeup of the company isn't structured right, and they don't value what they're doing enough to charge enough, that we see a lot of them fail for that reason. I think, just a little aside there, I think in Wax we see a lot of that kind of attitude. That's a little bit beside the point.
No, but I think that's important, and I agree. Like, I see a lot of passionate developers they usually hate money. They just want to be able to make their shit and get it out there, which is great. But I think they deserve more, most of them. And I think I and UTD as well, we need to get a bit better at evaluating. So maybe there should be a component to Vax Labs where you can talk to someone that knows a little bit more about this and can help you stupid developers evaluate your project.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Get what
Somebody would
deserve.
come to me and say, hey, how do I do this? I'm like, give it here. I'll do it. And then,
there's people doing great stuff for free and like,
right.
That's great, but you deserve money. I'm thinking on one specific dude that made a PFP series for free. That's great, but that's made some good ones. You deserve more money. I think
you can't last without money, unless there's money, unless the volunteer, there's enough volunteers that are passionate about it to carry it and it's set up in a system. You look at any DAO though, almost every DAO you see, whenever there's a vote, it's what puts most money in my pocket. That's how I'm going to vote. That's what you see. And I'm usually the guy that if there's 80% voting on one side, I'm usually the guy on the 20%, just trying to get it closer to center so we can be reasonable. Let's keep some money in the projects, we can push that forward. But I think we're getting a little bit afield. I'd like to, speaking of being in the community, things you built, can you talk about, I know you touched on it, but can you talk about your specific involvement in Wax? You mentioned Ella Blob. What else have you been involved in the Wax space?
And when you address the elephant in the room also, what can you give us your version? So I think most people that have been around long enough know that you were on the Immersive team, and that split was not one that was on the best of terms. You and I were on the Immersive board of directors, and so I was privy to a lot of what was going on in the background. So I kind of know what was happening, but can you, I guess, if to any naysayers or somebody who would say, oh no, I'm not going to vote for Anders because Dan said he blah, 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 or whatever, and I don't want to get into like the what would you say back to them to sort of reassure them that you're a positive influence in addition to the OIG office in the community?
I guess to answer it quickly, I'm probably most known for basically making Immersis, which was a project that I've had for very many years. The intro video and music theme for Immersis was made by me in 2014 or 16 or something. The music track is made by the same dude that made the Pixel soundtrack and stuff. He's a Norwegian, really, really cool musician. And I got started in Max by making the Ella Blob first the game, and we also made the lead card game, or the Ella Blobs themselves.
I never sleep. Sleep is because of the depth.
Sorry, I forgot that was on. Interrupt everybody.
Yeah, Immersive was kind of, that's been the dream of that game has been my baby for a really, really long time. And I was maybe not businessman enough to protect it well enough, and gave it away a bit too easily. We did have a great start on Immersive, and I think it was one of the most, or one of the coolest projects on Max. But in the end, shit went down, so to say. Someone decided to take ownership of everything, and now this is what has happened.
Yeah, so I mean, the reason why I bring it up is because there was a very it was in private channel, but it was a very explosive exchange between Dan and a few of the community members, specifically ones aimed at you and Pixagon, and I feel like I mean, that's wrong just regardless, right? Like, no matter how many times you say it, praise in public, reprimand in private, right? And that goes for everything, negative and positive. Take that shit somewhere else. But it's fun to watch, and that's why I guess we entertain it. But I remember in that private Discord, the board of directors Discord, I was a big Dan fan, and I still am. I'll always be a Dan fan. I'll always be an every person fan. But I was under the impression that the problem was with you, and over the course of the last year and a half or so, as we got to know each other, it's been very evident to me that was not the case. So I guess I'm apologizing to you for thinking that you were the bad guy at one point. I think you were just trying to call attention to something that you saw going wrong, and maybe didn't have the best delivery. So because you were aggressive, it looked like you were the bad guy. Does that sound familiar?
That might be. As I said, like this has been this is the project that I've been working on since high school. Yeah. Is making this. What I kind of Immersive was kind of the prototype for that. So it's been my little kid in a way, my other kid.
So are we going to see it come back? Or is it going to be the first miracle resurrection where the community, through decentralization, resurrects a project and runs it?
I guess I can say, like, it's about 1 year since it exploded, if we can put it like that. And what happened is that one party didn't want to do anything anymore. I just wanted to keep on working and keep on making stuff. But it was essentially blocked and being called out for everything. So what I ended up doing was trying to say, either you go or I take the code, and we kind of split it, fork it in a way, and we go each our ways. Which was not an option for the other party. But eventually he decided to fire everyone. So he waited till all of us was sleeping, and he just basically fired everyone, which he couldn't do. I was the CTO of that project. The code is written by me over the course of 5 years, and so much of that stuff is stuff that I made myself. And he took complete ownership and was very fast out. She talked a lot of people. And what ended up happening is that I got to get a license for my code, and for $10,000 USD, which is pretty low for something that I've been working on for many years before he entered the picture. And
Agreed.
the reason why I asked for that sum is because that's the money. He said that he didn't have money to pay the team, which is why he fired everyone overnight. The money that was required to pay the team for another month, which would have been like, we were 2 weeks away from releasing the full property update and all of the stuff that was promised. It was almost ready. But he said that he didn't have the $10,000. So I said, okay, give me $10,000 and the code, and I'll leave. And then suddenly he had all of those monies, which is odd. I even had money ready to give up to keep going, but I wasn't even given a chance. So yeah, it was kind of a Machiavellian move to just take over, and now there's a lot of
So you're saying my apartment is not worth anything anymore? Is that what you're saying? What about
Immersive is shut down. All of that is shut down. The planets I don't know about. I think that was kind of a desperate.
I bought one of the planets too.
But we
shit out of Immersive, man. So did Sandy. We both did.
So and yeah, the property update was 2 weeks away, and it was going to be pretty cool. And it was I had everything ready, and that never came because they weren't able to finish it, or I don't know if they even saw all the stuff that was there. But I have the code. Pixigon owns the code and has been working on it for a year. The Pixigon Micro is an attempt to better fund a game like that and gain the kind of investment without selling out to anyone. So yeah, what was the prototype of Pixigon was Immersive, and it's coming back in when it's ready.
And then tell me some about the. So what's the sentiment like? And I'm apologizing for not even knowing this. I know I'm in your Discord. Until I get that AI bot that it makes it look like I'm in there interacting. Like I'm not going to be able to fit it in to my schedule. But the question is, what's sentiment like in y'all's Discord? Excited, mediocre. I guess you probably wouldn't say if it was bad. What can you tell us about your community and your Pixigon community?
I think we're all very excited. Yeah,
I would say so
I think
too.
it's
Yeah,
super fun. We're not the most active community because we are mostly developers that are busy making stuff. I'm probably very bad at interacting with the community myself because I don't have the cloning techniques to make more copies of myself.
We can knock it out in a weekend, bro. It's a simple. Yeah, we'll knock it out.
I actually tried.
Yeah,
I didn't have the time to maintain it. But yeah, I think like the goals of Pixigon has been like to be a bit more unrelenting what I want to do, because with Immersive I compromised a lot on the stuff that I wanted to do. One of them was making like fully complete game experience, and I don't pre-sale stuff because I think that's been a problem for.
Yeah, we have a lot. We share a lot. It's odd. Also, I feel like it's a very common ideals amongst. I mean, because Kafers said like 2 or 3 things that are like my exact. Like I want to make cool shit. Like I've said it 100 times. You said about the like white papers. Like, yeah, I'm not doing that. That's stupid. That's 2021 Ponzi talk, right? And roadmaps and all of that shit. Like all of that should be internal. And nobody, unless your product is so technically advanced, like you don't need a fucking white paper to say I'm making a clicker game. Like, come on, man. and I appreciate that y'all have that same opinion. I remember
I think
somebody
I
asked.
see someone asking, taking external funds for projects feels like selling out. I think my problem is as a game developer, when you're selling the game assets as NFTs before the game is released in any way. Say you have like, here's 10 fighters that will appear in a game in 1 year. And you assign, they have an attack stat and a defense stats. The problem is when you solidify that in an NFT, you can't change it later. And if you do that before you even have started your game in a way, you can't change it. And that's the stuff you do in game design. Like maybe you want a speed stat in there, but because you didn't put it on the NFT, you're now fucked. So to me, like doing the pre-sale stuff that doesn't work with game design, because you can't sell like the characters and all of that first. That's something that kind of merges in with the game. That's also why I'm against doing roadmaps, because you can't or making concrete roadmaps. You can have loose roadmaps, but doing concrete roadmaps and promising stuff is hard, because you want to kind of, when you make a game, you want to find the fun, and you don't always know where the fun is. And if you have promised like, oh, we want to have a city builder by the end of the year, but you find out that like, oh, decapitating people's heads in this shooter game is way more fun than building a city. We want to do that instead, and then you can't people will scream rug pull if you change direction to that. But that's how game design works. So for me, like doing the pre-sale, it works for some people, but as a game designer, it's just like doing it backwards in a way. And I worked at GameStop, and I really disliked the pre-order thingy as well, like paying for something that you're not going to get until there's been a year. And NFT has kind of been like, let's do pre-orders on speed and cocaine and just go way more bananas with it. I think that's not the good thing that we should do about NFTs. And that's the same with like Pixelgon doesn't have a token, like its own token. We have VAX, we have the NFTs. That's all we need. Our currency is VAX and the tokens. And that means that there's way harder for us to fail, because all of VAX has to fail for Pixelgon to fail. And I think that's way less likely. And also, most of the NFT interactions we do is basic validation of the NFTs. There's no staking and all of the things. And yeah, I think like we're going to go very slowly in how we enable NFT features. We could go crazy with staking, but I don't want to. I want to make sure that it's fun first, and you get games first, and you pay for something that exists. That's the most important to me.
I want to jump in.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you about
addressing what you're talking about right now, and also the comments in the chat about both. You need to sleep less so you can build more. Come back to a question that Vampire asked almost an hour ago. All three applicants seems to have a lot of projects in progress and day-to-day workload. How will you manage supplementary workload? So how do you balance, if you do make it as OIG, how do you balance that with everything that you're building and plan to build?
Well, first of all, I haven't promised anything. I just, here's the finished thing. So in a way, I'm not tied up like that. I've also made, this is something that we've been talking about in the Pixelgon Discord, at least privately, and they're going to keep on with business as usual, because we've kind of made a team that now they can make the games, and we're going to keep doing that. I'm going to, if I become OIG or IG or whatever happens, I'm going to be that first. But I'm still going to be in Pixelgon and kind of direct it more, but act more as like, I guess, board of director style thingy. I'm push the stuff. Also, I don't sleep. I'm a developer, so I have more hours in the day than most people, I guess. I don't know if it's good, but whatever. So yeah, I have a lot of time, and a lot of the stuff that I like doing is like automating and streamlining stuff. I don't want to sit and do like tedious tasks. If I have to replicate something 3 times, I'm going to automate it. So yeah, I would be OIG, IG first. I would do all of those tasks first, and then Pixelgon.
Fair. Should we jump to the other? Do we have another question?
Yeah, we can knock some of those out there. I have one more in the forums.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
I know we've kind of bounced around this one a little bit, but I want to make sure we answer Overseas Madman question. It is a fair one. And what things in particular do you feel you'd make an improvement on? For example, Rakuten promised me a website with a load of information on the OIG and never seen it. And again, I think the website's an easy thing to start with. Everybody agrees. Like I'm sure all 3 candidates agree that we need a new website. Other than the website, what do you think needs to be improved that that someone in the role of OIG can accomplish?
As I said, like streamline as much as possible. Make things more obvious and visual and easy to understand. I don't know if I would go ahead and promise a bunch of things. I would just sit down and do it because I'm a passionate game developer, and if I start promising things, it gets out of hand. So I know with myself, like I need to just do it and do it with the community. And the way I like to do stuff is like just put it out there, start gathering as much feedback as possible, and start improving and iterating, and like fail fast and learn from the fails and fix it. So that's I think people would be very aware of the stuff going on, and it will probably be very vocal and give feedback, but that giving all the feedback is what should drive it forward, and kind of listen to what people say. But of course there's a lot of developers know that famous picture with the comic strip with all the ways to build a swing. Like the customer wanted this, and the investors wanted this, and you have all the versions of what people wanted for a swing, and in the end you just needed a very simple swing. So I think like as a developer, your main role is kind of interpreting. It's kind of interpreting what do people need, not what they say they want, because that's not the same usually. And that's something I think I'm good at. It's like taking in all the feedback and people screaming 10,000 different things and just finding out like, oh, this is what you actually want, and just get it out there, see how it performs, see what fails, what succeeds, and improve. Keep improving, keep iterating. One thing I would do is like the main metric to follow is rate of innovations, I think.
Excellent.
I think it's promising that you recognize that. I think it's important to recognize that if that's before you even make any progress on something like that.
Right,
Tofu Titan says, beyond pure lack of effective marketing and discovery strategies for the wax chain, what do we think are the primary reasons that more projects don't choose to base themselves on wax?
They don't know about it enough, I think. We just need to show it off more, is what I would say, and just show what our capabilities are. I'm totally losing my voice. But yeah, we just need to show it off more. Show off the great games that are built on it. And
Coleman, what do you agree with that? What is your answer to that question?
Why do I think that people are not don't choose wax? I also agree that in one regard they want to do their own thing because it's more in-house control. They can build their token. They can have their own website and system. And then another, I just don't think people know what can be done on it. It kind of has a reputation among people who are in crypto as a collector's thing, as a Funko thing a lot right now. And I'll answer my question I asked her, like, whose role is it? I see it as part of the Forsaken team as my role to build wax, like to build something so great on wax that people are going to be lining up the door to get into Forsaken, and by getting Forsaken into wax. And you're doing the same thing in a different, I mean, you have a project, but you're also doing it on Twitch and streaming, and Anders has been doing it. And everyone that's in our chat, one way or another, has been doing that, going out and bringing people in and playing the games and buying the project. So I do think everybody is responsible to help grow this. Would like to see more from the blockchain itself. I know they're working on certain things, so a lot of it is stuff that we don't necessarily see because they're working on. But short answer, it's my responsibility to get out there and build that.
Yeah, I would agree. Though my answer to the why are not, so it depends on who we're talking about, right? If we're talking about average John Q citizen, is that how it goes? Yeah, it's it's likely an exposure thing. But if we're talking about larger companies, people that would have done a due diligence on the chain itself, they're not coming here because of the really bad look that Wax has had over the course of the last 3 years, starting with the OP skins whole thing, and a lot of that core team still remaining. I would have concerns. Like, I'm just thinking about it from like the perspective of an analyst that's performing this due diligence, and then I see that there's an ICO lawsuit, and then I see never mind, I'm not going to touch on that. I see there's an ICO lawsuit, right? And then I realize that's likely connected to Coinbase, because I know that I've seen Coinbase say publicly that unfortunately, like, you can try to apply. If you've ever had an ICO, they'll tell you that's why they cannot list you on their exchange. And so that's a huge negative, right? That's the biggest US exchange will not take Wax for no other reason than they had an ICO. Well, I've commented on other reasons, but that's the reason. If y'all didn't know that, that's why. And until the Ripple thing gets solved, that's how it's going to be. If there are tokens on there that had an ICO, I assure you it was before they said that, because they did say that. And then just the general negativity that I would learn about, right? Like I talked about the telegrams, and it's something that I praise those guys for changing, because one of the channels was represented as an official, and then they renamed it. I don't know if it was because I complained about it, but I appreciate it nevertheless, because it wasn't a professional environment, right? And you never know who's coming into your dev help. Like, what happens if the AAA CTO with $1 billion to spend comes into a Telegram to see how the development community interacts, and they walk into the fucking Josh CMAD thing? Like, come on, man. Like, what, are we really doing this? Like, and so there's that. And then as I mentioned in BD stream, it starts at the top, the very top, with Quigley. I worked at Dell for over a decade, and Michael Dell was a very staunch Republican supporter, but you would never know that unless you went looking into the campaign contributions, because he wasn't. And it might be apples and oranges, because social media wasn't nearly as affluent as it is now, but the face, the head, the CEO of a company liking, tweeting the things that William Quigley, it's fucking atrocious. If I would have seen that, known that before I came into Wax, there's no way in the world. I'd be like, look at, like, somebody called him a Nazi on one, like, just basically a Nazi. Like, and I'm serious. Like, I could pull them up and show you how negative this behavior is, and I'm not condemning it. I'm condemning the behavior, but I'm not condemning the person's right to feel and think that way. As an American, you certainly are entitled to that. I'm condemning the CEO, the face. Why are you alienating entire races, entire sexual orientations, entire genders? Why are you alienating anybody if you're the CEO of a company? Like, you should, as a businessman, not care who they sleep with or what they look, as long as they're paying you money. That's honestly, isn't that all that should matter? And it's just mind-boggling to me. I think that Kafer mentioned, like, it doesn't have authority or a purview, and well, something I feel like needs to be done or said there. Lucas has had his moments also, of just like, wow, really, the CTO is just talking to people like that. I saw him say in a public telegram that something wasn't pushed to a repo because the staff was fucking idiots, and it doesn't matter if he was joking or not. It's a public. Like, if you do that at a Fortune 50 as the CTO, you're not the CTO anymore. Like, you're not. And so, um, there's too much of a laissez-faire, I feel like, and it starts at the top, right? You see, people close to the CEO, I would imagine, see how he behaves, and then it rolls downhill. I think the biggest reason why uh, are those mentioned. I think that's why Mattel went to Flow. Like, how as we Flow go to Mattel and say, hey, we're a blockchain that's slower, more expensive. We suck. We don't have really much anything at all, except for Top Shot, and that's its own monster that you're not going to get any benefit from.
I'll tell you.
Leave Wax and come over to, and the reason was because it was the US and Canada. Like, it's able to move through our exchanges. That was the selling point. And they probably use that as their pitch. Say, hey, you're with Wax. They can't do shit in the US. Yeah, we can. Come sign with our slower shitty chain.
Yeah.
And it was that easy.
But part of that is they built it and they got it out there somehow before Wax did. And so now where are games, Immutable X and Polygon, they're banding together, and that's where a lot of gaming is. And where is this on crypto? Where is that? And so they're going there. They're like, this is how much we've made with this huge brand, Mattel. Do you want in? And they're like, well, yeah, that's a lot more money than what is in a lot of the blockchain. So the fact they've established, it's like, why do you buy a pair of Nikes? Are they the best pair on the market? No, maybe they are. I'm not saying they're not, but that's the brand. They built themselves as the brand, and Wax just hasn't built that.
I don't care if I don't. I feel like this is. I'm going to star that one, circle back to that one, because I'm almost certain that my memory serves me correctly. Wax themselves called it an ICO, and I mean, at that point, what it was or wasn't, it's kind of moot. But I don't think anybody lost the lawsuit. I thought it was settled also, which is not a win or a loss. But I need to fact check that as well. Yeah.
I think, if the CEO is doing that
interesting, This is an interesting question. What do y'all think of this question? How do you feel about adult content has been handled on Wax? Is there anything that the OIG role can do to facilitate keeping it out of being a backroom collection?
To me, I don't know if it's Wax that has been holding it back in that way. I know that Atomic Hub has had a lot of problems with that in the past. I'm not 100% sure on how it is right now, but they kind of blocked stuff off unfairly and just blacklisted or de-whitelisted everything that was not safe for work content. I think like we're at that point technically now that you should be able to easily toggle that, especially when we're on the blockchain and most people have to confirm that they're over 18 anyways. It should be easy enough to just filter that out for the people that don't want to see that and show it to the people that wants to see that. People should be able to select that in a way. And a lot of the not safe for work stuff it's not very risky in a way. And like the stuff that a lot of it is really, really good artwork and artistry as well. And they are really, really passionate people. And yeah, they should be allowed to be doing stuff and be on there as well. And I think we should provide more tools to make it easier to separate out that stuff and kind of not show it to the people that don't want to see it. And if you're an adult that want a seat, you should be able to do that. Yeah.
I mean, the semantics of a so like I said, I wasn't sure on the lawsuit, but I feel like token sale and initial coin offering, like what are we talking about here? What's the difference when they're both unregulated and both are subject to the Howey test? And I guess I'm confused. Yeah, he's dead. Malcolm, what happened with him?
I think like stuff like this is something that all chains have had issues with this because it hasn't been regulated. I think now we're going to move more into all of this stuff is hopefully going to be more easier to figure out, because before it hasn't been easy at all to figure out. Like even in Norway, there's one politician who wants to imprison everyone that has ever touched cryptocurrency. It's like, okay, cool.
That's nobody. Nobody's ever touched it, ever. Tell me that. So nobody's ever touched it.
Lost it in a lake, boating accident.
Imak brings up a really good point. It seems to me that Atomic has a lot more power in the space than I think they should have, maybe. And this is that early government, when you're establishing a government or establishing a ecosystem like this, whoever steps in and starts doing things is going to automatically take that power. Like they said, okay, we'll create a whitelist, we'll create an orange check mark, verified, and then they replace that with a system they feel is better in the badges. And so that became the standard because they did it. Like, who's going to be the next one to step up? When we see the marketplaces, we see Atomic Hub, we see NFT Hive, we see Nifty Blocks doing a lot, and they're kind of driving the blockchain as a whole. Like individual projects like Forsaken or like any other individual has limited power where they can take the whole blockchain, but these marketplaces where they're bringing everybody together actually have a lot of say in the direction. And so I do need to take off in 2 minutes, but I wanted to ask one more question. How important is it for an OIG to be able to collaborate and work together with people? And how would you rank yourself? What are your strengths in that regard?
I think it's very important. You need to be able to work with as many people as possible in a way, and be collaborative. And I think that's one of the things I really want to do. I just want to work with people and make awesome shit. As Kiefer
Hell yeah, dude.
also said,
that's what I'm all
just
about.
make cool shit, and whoever wants to join in on making cool shit, I would love to do that. And I think
I want to make cool shit with you. I showed you what I want to make. Let's make it.
Yeah, and I think all of us developers just need to, or everyone that just want to create stuff on Wax, just get together and create cool stuff. And I think that's how we will reach out, is just show that we are a community of passionate people that loves making stuff. And I think, as OIG, like I would probably be trying to be an example of that in a way, and just show, collaborate as much as possible where it makes sense, and be open to talk with everyone in a way. And I think every idea has importance and deserves to be heard, at least. And then when people can discuss it and figure it out together, and that's how put together something that is a few parts to get something that bigger than the sum of its parts. That's super important.
Appreciate the time. I appreciate the honest answers.
Coleman, you got time for one a grubby here?
I got time for a grubby.
All right, man. Let's do it. Y'all got 30 seconds. Let's go. I'm going to stay on. Anders, did you got time, man? I think I got a couple more questions to go over that I'd like to just touch on, man.
Can I ask another quick one then while we're all loading in?
Of course, yeah.
Why stupid games? Why do you make
why stupid games? Because it's multiple reasons. First of all, it's IMSG, monosodium glutamate, which is like the juiciness in meat, which is, if you like cooking, that's some fun stuff. It's basically juicing. It's also because people think it's funny. That's fun. I think it was funny, and that's kind of what I do. I just make stupid shit, and sometimes it's fun stupid shit, and sometimes it's just stupid shit. Like if you saw my Flash profile or my Newground stuff, you would, yeah, this is Imakestupidgames.
Cool. I think it's great branding. I like it.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right, y'all got 20 seconds. I restarted it for you. And exclamation, I make stupid games, followed by your wax wallet address. And I don't know if I got any Pixie Gun. Is there anything open on the drops, dude? I got to do some Pixie Gun giveaways here.
Yeah, go crazy.
I'll hit the secondary. Don't sweat it. I got it.
I can send you some stuff as well.
Nah, don't even worry about it, man. All right, here we go. Ready? Everybody get ready to explode. So we're doing first place is most kills. So exclamation explode if you've never done it before. Second place will be last man standing. 3, 2, 1, go. Whoops.
Threw everybody off.
Yep.
I'm going victim role this time. I'm not going to grubsplode. Give everybody else, because streamers have an advantage on the timing. You know, we have 5 second.
Oh, huge! And I have a macro that spits them out because like there's a 2,000 millisecond, I think, rate limit on messages. So it's like exactly that, and it fires out, explode, then resize. but if I win, everybody wins. So it's definitely a plus.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to the audience too. You know, there's a lot of awesome people making great stuff in wax, working so hard. And I know you two are two of the top there. But the people who are in the streams and playing the games and just participating, building the hype, like love hanging out with the crowd, love chatting with people. It's good to see everybody here. So shout out to those of you in the Legion, those of you who aren't in the Legion.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys being here. And awesome having every one of you here.
Yeah, Legion, go vote.
What is, so you go to the voting and it says vote for, is it staking wax or is it just a one vote per wax account? Like explain real quick how the voting works.
One vote for each staked wax, basically. So if you have 1 million staked wax, you have 1 million votes.
And you can't split them. You vote everything you have staked in wax, you vote, and it goes to one candidate. And you can change that, right? You can change your vote after you've already cast it.
Yeah, which is inherently flawed and should never, like, there isn't a single election process I know of where you could. It's dangerous. It's dangerous.
Where you can see the
right
results.
Yeah, if I can put a gun to your head and say move that 4 million over here, like it should never be a thing. It's manipulative because of the psychological factor. You know, when people are undecided, they'll go with the majority, and so it's manipulative in that sense. And you can, you know,
Alcy makes
that's
a good
super
point.
flawed.
Oh, I do have one other question I really want to get to. Alcy makes a good point though. If you want to if you have multiple accounts, or if you want to vote for multiple people, just put it in a couple different accounts and vote differently. What is so I like you. I like Kafer. You know, I like a lot of people in wax. If I vote for one guy, this is like a popularity contest at school. If I vote for this guy, then I can't be friends with this guy anymore. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Can we still be friends if Forsaken doesn't stake all of our wax and vote for you?
Yes, you can be.
All right.
We can't do that. I'm just kidding.
No, that's you. I'm more interested in people voting for whoever they vote on. Of course, I think I would like it more if you put your votes on me, because my number is smaller than Kafer's number, and I think I need a lot of more numbers to get on Kafer's level. So just like, it would be cool if my number was like a little bit higher.
To make it more of a contest, make it a game.
I think you have to put a lot of stake backs in to make it more of a game.
Yeah, to balance it out.
Yeah. But yeah, the most important thing right now is just get people interested, get people to vote, and whoever you vote on, I'm still gonna be your friend, and I make stupid games. Pretty much.
Appreciate that. Appreciate the answers. I'm going to let you two carry on. TD, thanks for so much for the invite. I really want to do this again. I want to.
Yeah, dude, let's do it. You got to talk Kafer because he's gonna say no to me, but talk him into coming on sometime this week before the 15th.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'll talk to him. It was great having him in the audience. That was cool. And Elsie too. If anyone has any questions and wants an unbiased opinion, I think she's unbiased. Elsie too is a very good. She knows amazing. A lot about the process. A lot of you have heard what TD has to say on OIG voting. Elsie knows a lot about it. I don't know how much she agrees with him, but talk to people. And those are a couple people that are happy to reach out. You can reach out to, happy to answer any questions. So thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. We'll catch you later.
All right, man. Thank you so much, brother.
Thanks for the questions, for the grilling.
And to answer that, Elsie and I are of one mind when it comes to our BP and OIG thoughts. All right. So next thing is I don't think that's far that far from the truth. Honestly, we for the most part I've seen all of the deficiencies and agreed that they were deficiencies. Yeah, like a hive mind. Yeah, where we go one, we go. No, that's not it. Just one shout out. If you have something you think you can do to improve the office, you can contribute without being IG, and you can even be paid through Wax Labs for it.
You should do that, TD.
Yeah, so I mean, Elsie was working on a proposal. I don't know if she finished it, but she suggested an office of the secretary, and it was brilliant. And it was exactly, she's got a ton of like corporate executive and leadership experience, and she knows how all of those things work and why they're in place and for what reason. And that kind of is what I want to talk about here is like the requirements for the OIG. You always hear, or at least I have mostly heard, because I don't want to use absolutes, mostly heard that it's technical. You got to be technical, got to be technical. And so when the stream started, I pointed out that there was the guild reviews, which at one point I believe was communicated that that's all that the OIG did. That all they were responsible for was reviewing the guilds. With 23% of it being, and let me just pull up actually the actual notes that I took on it. That came straight from the. Did I close my notes? So you said your work experience was CTO, so definitely technical. You're a dev, definitely technical, and I don't know that you mentioned too many other leadership roles, but so the bulleted items here are from the Notion. Let me get the link so y'all can look at this. So at the bottom of each like review item, it lists out skills required or something to that effect. And looks like I paste it twice here. So I don't think this one belongs here. So the first one was the technical evaluation, right? So you got to make sure that, which by the way, how many history solutions do you need to be active? If I'm asking this question correctly, let's see if you know it though. How many history solutions do you need to qualify to be BP? Kafer, help me out here if I'm not asking it right. And what to yeah. And what are they? What are the history solutions, bro? What are the that you're required to maintain?
Are you asking Kafer now?
No, I'm asking you as a potential. I guess what I'm more asking is, do you know the technical requirements? Have you looked over them? Have you reviewed them from the perspective of having to make sure that everybody's following the rules?
Yeah, depends on. I think I need to actually be in the position to actually feel it like properly what it is, because the description that is up there behind you there is kind of it's
Yeah,
sort of
this is
vague in a way.
yeah, these are my notes, which I'm not sharing. I'm the worst. But as far as just like skills are concerned, right? And so I highlighted the ones that were product development and ecosystem. And at the top here, this is the ones that are that was the technical, right? So systems engineering and infrastructure management, yeah, that's technical, tech ops, no doubt. InfoSec, undoubtedly technical. IT admin, obviously, right? But then when we go into product development, we're looking at software programming. Okay, so it's I guess technical by definition, but like I mean, you're a software programmer, so am I. DevOps. I mean, if you deployed, I mean, DevOps is DevOps, right? You can go super intricate and like really deep into any one of these things, but if you understand it, you understand it, right? And systems and infrastructure management. Again, if we're talking about products, I mean, I know for a fact that you know all of these things. You probably know them a lot better than most people, right? So I would say that this is you qualify. Boom. So you got product development handled, and then ecosystem. I might have these backwards also. Business development. So you didn't really comment too much on that, but it's also something that is inherently learned, right? Through work and life experience. Finance is not. I feel like finance is something that you actually have to go and seek education on.
It depends on how deep you want to go in that. But I think like all of this is this is the role of a CTO in many ways. It's kind of like you should have a grasp on all of these things and kind of bring them together. But I don't think you should be the expert in all of them.
No, it's impossible to be an expert in
feasible.
anything, just especially in tech, man. You couldn't be an expert in system fans. Like I'm serious. Like if you were to say, hey, I just want to know everything there is to know about system fans, like you would spend a lifetime learning. You can, it's wild. Product partnerships and product development, I feel like that goes back to the other bullet point. And so what I'm looking at here is it's tech based, but I feel like beyond what this is, which is understanding, what I obviously don't, right? Like I read it and I tried to catch him off guard with a tough question, Kafer. That's what it was, and then I forgot the answer myself. I know it was Hyperion and Defuse. We ran a Hyperion for a little while. We did it on AWS, which was like crazy expensive, but that was because we had credits, which I feel like another project that is recently complaining about their server costs. They got the same credits that we did because we're both in Austin.
We'll have a AWS.
Yeah, we got it. Yeah, dude, it was like $1,600 a month, right? And that was just the one Hyperion. Yeah, dude. So I'm not going to talk about it, but
I can say that for this these kind of things. First of all, I'm Norwegian, so I don't call them all of these things. We have a bit of different names. But when I was CTO, I did a lot of all of these things, like all of the business development, finance, product partnerships, all of that. I was in a ton of meetings with investors and project partners and being part of writing up contracts and how we should do things and how we should behave and kind of pleasing that end of the spectrum. So in my head, like this is kind of been that collective thing has been what I did as a CTO pretty much. And again, like I wasn't the best guy in the room on finances, but there was someone that was. But I needed to know a little bit about it, and it's like
right.
And that's
And I mean, basic bookkeeping, like
It's not only that, but it's like just how are we gonna make this project work?
Right.
what kind of business plan is in place here.
Or do you even know that you need a business plan, or you know, do you know what a
should we talk
30,
to
60,
a
90
VC
is?
fund or all of that stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that an improvement that could be made, because saying somebody's not qualified for a job without there being some type of you know, like tell me, like show me why that is. You either have work experience, and then I'm taking your word for it. But like I would say like interactions in the community aren't, you know, or people, or the questions that people ask aren't indicative of their aptitude. I've had people that were genius devs ask some of the most basic questions about like CSS and front end stuff, because they just, like I said, it's impossible to know everything. I would love to see a skills assessment test. I know that they have on, and I haven't looked if Antelope has the equivalent yet, but on the training.eos.io site, there are the modules for BPs. I haven't gone through them myself. Yeah.
I think like what I learned as CTO is like don't be afraid to ask the stupid questions. And
Yeah, there's no stupid questions, only stupid people who ask questions, right? Isn't that how the saying goes?
Something like that, and stupid games. So it's just be able to be honest about what you know and don't know, and go to the.
Exactly.
It is problem solving. Is like that's the main skill, I would say. And if you don't know the solution to a problem, then you should be able to figure out how to get the solution to the problem. By
Agreed.
different ways. That's kind of most of the.
Yeah, man.
As a developer, that's the most important skill, I would say.
Without a doubt, troubleshooting, just like basic troubleshooting theory, like testing know to test known goods, and there's a lot of things that are in a troubleshooting path that if you didn't have experience with it, you wouldn't even think to you know, I brought it up because I got this box next to me. You guys can't see it, but like it was a spare custom rig, and I put Ubuntu 22.04 on it, and it reminded me of a Linux to go on the USB. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like you put the whole, I think you still can put the whole OS on a USB drive and just boot to it. And like I would tell people to do that to eliminate software. Like let's take Windows out of the picture. And they thought I was crazy, but like that's, you know, that's the kind of shit I feel like you're alluding to. I get it. If anybody,
I have a USB stick with a Linux distro on it, and the entirety of Wikipedia downloaded to it. It's in my prepper kit. So if shit goes down, I have like a little USB kit ready to go, which I don't think I'm going to need it, but it's fun to have it nonetheless.
Yeah, man. All right. So we have conclusion. Why should people vote for you and not your opponents? What's your sell me on it? I'm undecided. Sell me.
Because I'm a fresh pair of hands that's might have a little bit of a different skill set and might have a better skill set for where Wax should be going now, I would say. And yeah, I think that's the main point. Like, so someone who wants to refine it a bit more and highlight more of the good stuff that is already existing, because most of the people on Max knows that there's so much cool stuff.
Right.
That's something I've seen in the chat keep saying, like there's so much cool stuff on Max. And that's also a good reason. Bring it closer. I'm
not going to even front. I don't. So people had suggested that I run on Twitter, and I should have not replied, but I had thought about it, and I decided against it for two reasons. First, I'm entirely too busy with like these three projects I'm trying to juggle, and the second part being is that I don't think Kafer losing this election is in the best interest of Wax right now. I don't. But I respect the people that are running without a doubt, and I respect the reason that you're running. I think it's critical, right? I respect that Danish has run for all of them, right? I appreciate those all individually for what they are. Would you say? Let me ask you this: would you say you are the underdog of this election?
I know you call me that. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm just
clearly,
I'm just a dude that makes stupid games.
yeah. I mean,
Maybe
look,
a little bit.
the other guy's got 5 times the experience doing this or something, right?
But
And the incumbent
as I've
is the
said,
incumbent.
yeah. But as I said before, I'm in it for the long haul, and
Right.
I
Yeah.
think I'm more up for winning or doing a lot better in the next election. And as I said, like I think Kafer, he has proven that he has the skill. And
Right.
yeah,
Right.
I'm kind of more. I want to show off that I'm here more, and I'm
Sure. Yeah.
gonna probably keep competing until people tell me off.
Right. You know what
And
I would like to see, because I don't know if it exists at this moment, but I would like to see some sort of mentoring or shadowing of OIGs, right? And so that because like I don't think you have a very clear picture of what a day to day even looks like, right? Like as far as like hour by hour, right? And it's something
if
that's
that's
the term shadow. It's a very corporate thing. That's how you would get people interested in moving roles, advancing, whatever. Go shadow with this person, go learn something. I think that uh, anyone interested in becoming an OIG, I feel like should have to do that because in a lot of instances, in I mean, I remember Adele, like if you didn't shadow, like nobody was taking you serious. Like you don't even know what this job is. Why are you applying for it? And
I
so,
think it's such a big. From talking to Kafer, it's clear that it's a very complex and there's a lot of things to do, and it seems that very few days are exactly the same in a way. So yeah, something like that, and I think that would be happening anyways, especially when you have a Kafer that's been in there for so many years as well. So yeah, and that's something like I would like to see. That's the transparency point, I think, like showing more of what is the OIG actually doing. Um,
yeah, I
yeah,
mean,
I
I
think
was just thinking
onboarding
about
is a
how
big one.
doing it remotely. I'll see probably makes it less of a thing because like it was literal, like right next to somebody, and that kind of went away.
But as he says about the onboarding stuff, that's also something that I've mentioned that I want to do as OIG slash IG is make the onboarding more clear by exposing it a bit more, and have it so that I don't know if you've heard of the term bus count. I've always liked that term, but that's basically how many people can get run over by a
Oh
bus
yeah.
until your
Yeah.
company fails. And I think
Right,
like the
right.
OIG office seems like it's at one. Like
Yeah, dude,
if
yeah, dude,
Kafer
without
gets
a
run over
doubt,
by a
dude.
bus,
I've said that exact term about the 3 of them. Like,
yeah.
well, if you
So
take
and
the bus factor, like, or they all get on the same plane to go to the same conference. Like, you know what I mean?
yeah, we're
Or
fucked.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
think like, but I think like yeah, and I want to make sure that the OIG role isn't as vulnerable to that. Like me, if I was in that position, I should be able to be run over by a bus tomorrow, and Max should be completely fine, and someone should just be able to smooth in.
yeah, without a
Uh,
doubt.
yeah, good that there's a fallback system. So fallback system and onboarding. I would I would set that as a very high priority, I think, and just make sure that we aren't fucked if something happens to the OIG and IGs.
Right.
Mm.
Did
And
that
that's
get
important as
implemented,
well.
Kiefer? I know that that was something that I wanted to follow up on with you specifically. I know I came in looking for it in Telegram one of the 3 times I was in there. What am I buying here, dude? These are the seal packs. I'm looking at lowest cost. I want Kuma stuff, right? That's what we want, right? Let's get some Kuma stuff in our. Oh, I almost did do that, didn't I? That would have been a mistake. I'd have been so.
We have the embedded store on Pixagon.io as well.
Again?
On Pixagon.io, we have the embedded Nifty store as well with all the drops.
Oh yeah,
available and the marketplace.
Nice.
I like both.
I should be going through Chain Champs. There's a reason why I find it to be a bit cumbersome, but I'm going to fix it.
Yeah, go play some Pixagon micro games.
Yeah, dude, we're gonna give away 2 Pixagon Kuma's cartridges here. And can we talk about your other projects or the Wax Labs proposal? I suppose that's public info, right? So we can talk about that.
Yeah. So we're developing an app called Pixagon Prism, which is basically an NFT wallet sort of on your phone. It's not that much about like payment and doing that stuff. It's more like seeing what you have in your wallet and spawning it out in AR. So yeah, we just I just sent in the first deliverable beta build today. You have one as well, TD. Yeah, you can try it on Android and iPhone, even though you don't like it.
Hell yeah.
So,
yeah.
Guess
when it comes to like, if somebody says this doesn't work on my device and they say Safari or like, I ignore it like it wasn't even mentioned.
I don't know how much I can.
Oh shit! Hold on, let me full size you. Hold on.
I guess I have to turn off my beautiful background. Where's my cursor? Which screen I am on? Oh, you can see all my Lego. Shit.
Boom! There we go.
So here you can see my Wax wallet, and the thing is, you can search up users, and we use an account system where you link your Wax wallet and other NFT wallets to it. So I can go to my account, and it's kind of a social media. This isn't very clear, but you have like followers, and profile views, and I can see. I really like this menu here. This shows my Wax balance, and then you can really
nice.
You can tap this and see like the breakdown of my Wax amounts. I really like that animation. Then I can all my NFTs. I can bring up my NFTs here, and I can see like, the picture and everything, and then I can spawn it out into AR.
Nice.
So this is kind of my attempt at just super streamlining the way we view NFTs.
So the TLDR was it's an AR app, correct?
I would say a wallet, NFT wallet, digital asset wallet that also can spawn it out in AR, augmented reality, for those that aren't familiar with that term.
Yeah, dude.
Which means that you can like have your NFT, place it in your living room, and then you can walk around the room with your phone.
So there's. Have you seen VV? Are you familiar with VV?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. Do you have any of the VV NFTs?
They're not NFTs, so no.
They're not NFT. Oh shit! Tell me what they are.
They are. They're basically figurines, but it's from a centralized thing. they seem like NFTs, but they're not NFTs. So yeah, it's kind of a weird one. I think also they had some issues with who owned their models and stuff. It's
Yeah.
not really digital ownership the way blockchain is, but they look smooth and all of that.
Yeah, like Top Shot. Like they shouldn't be NFT. Like I can't take them anywhere. Like what are you talking about NFTs?
Yep.
Y'all
So-
can't even sell packs. Like what are you?
So yeah, but I think it looks nice, and if people are on that, like, wait till you see what an NFT actually is. Oh, it's kind of cool. So yeah, and Pixel Prism is going to be a free app for everyone on iPhone and Android. It's being tested right now, but it's kind of the social media aspect, because now we have like the following and followers stuff, which was I was surprised when we started testing it properly today, and it's just me and some of the people on the team. But the ease of having, I wanted to check out CryptoKuma and get his wallet because I need to test some stuff. I just went into my profile, went to followers, and found Kuma, and just found his wallet that way. And the way that was kind of neat and nice.
Right.
This is sort of like the same Twitter formula in a way, and instead of having to remember the wallet, you can remember your username instead. And then we're also going to bring in
funny that
collection.
you say that, dude. I'm gonna do something that I know better than to do, which is to share screen share a branch of a project that I didn't test before I was streaming, and I'm gonna get to like the climax, and then it's gonna error out and fail.
Of course.
In grand fashion. But it's funny that you say that. It's weird how aligned our thoughts are. Are you tapped into my phone or something? Did I leave my camera running one night and you got the IP or something? It's weird, dude.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I unplugged my camera. I'm that dude, the one that unplugs his camera every time he's done streaming. And mutes his mic. Oh, the cat. There's my friend. Oh shit. And see now, if y'all would have exploded, y'all, but this was pathetic, man. The tissues, dude. I'm gonna award you twice because oh shit. Come on, man. All right. That's my bad. I told y'all that like I'm not responsible enough to have this goddamn green screen. It completely screws me up. You got second twice in a row. How did you see it? We weren't sharing the game. Here, we'll just do another one. It was Soul of the Cat won that one. And Tissues, you didn't put your wallet in, bro. Oh shit. All right, let me try it. Let me be dangerous here. All right, so this is like the latest revision of the NFTG site, which is not really live, but like it's running on a Vercel instance, and people are using it for the redeem tickets because I had to do that all over. But we are requiring authentication, and I'll tell you why. Like I didn't want to force it, but like I understand why people do. It's because it's easier. To do it any other way was complicating things too much. So I want to log out of that wallet and let me log into. Have you used WharfKit? The latest WharfKit's badass, right? And so, you know, a little quick menu here. Go to our profile.
Unity, so we don't have that.
Fuck up. So all right. So I got a caching issue because I'm not in this wallet. Let me try to go to it. There we go. And I got spacing issues down here. I should have stayed in that wallet. So as some of y'all know, we have the NFT drip, as you can see here. It shows it to you. But what I wanted to show y'all is that we have your trust score on the website. And so not only is it for the cloud wallet, which you can, if y'all, I mean, I showed you it today. If you're a dev, you can get to it through Wax.js. Let me log out and see, show y'all. Hopefully this part works. We'll see though. This is the part that I was working on right before I had to start getting ready for the streams that I'm not sure I closed the loop on, but maybe I did. I'm going to use this one because I think that other link might be wonky. All right. And so, yeah, there we go. If you come to, if you go to, once the site's live, you go to your profile, and this is probably what you'll see. If you see drip is not activated, that means that any of the NFTs that should be getting dripped on aren't getting dripped on. So you're going to want to click that, and then it'll lock. You can't do anything about it after that. But look, so I have the search wallet thing, and I have it by name in my wallet. Isn't that amazing that we both thought that way?
It's pretty smooth.
Yeah, dude. I need to just tie up names right now as well. But Anchor Trust wallets. What? Nobody has this. Not even Chain Champs. This wallet's got a really bad score, I think.
That's extremely bad if it goes from 0 to 1.
Yeah, dude.
What have you done?
Check that. My math on that. Postman at. Yeah, shout out to Jaws and Chain Champs for. I mean, I think it's a pretty awesome thing for them to do is to let us be the first ones to put it out there for everyone. Super cool of them. And if you didn't know, it's available in all of the cloud wallets, and it's gonna be a lot of help, and it's gonna streamline, especially if people start building tools with it, where especially for streamers, like there's no more of this subjective and like oftentimes criteria to eliminate potential entrants or winners, right? It can be based on actual metrics and not even just necessarily like just the trust score. You can take, there's several, 6-bit has one called Wax Mole, right? And I mean, I think that the best solution is always the aggregate, right? You never want to rely on one data source and very many things. And I think this is another case where the more the better, especially if they're diverse algorithms or they're taking things into account that others aren't.
Yep.
But yeah, dude, it's gonna be pretty helpful, man. It's gonna root out a lot of the bad that I feel like plagues Wax, which is obviously the botting, and I don't know, other bad actors, I guess.
Yeah, and I think like the trust score is there a path to redemption in it built in?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, like built into it. Not that I'm aware of. You mean like an appeals process? Like we're like, yeah, my score is too low, and
sort of like say you're a normal person and you did some things that could be perceived as shady in the past. So maybe you don't have a full score, but you have a 0.8. Can you improve it by showing that you're a good person in a way?
Yeah, it's my understanding that they send Wax data every day.
Yeah, and I guess like if you do a criminal act let's say you do tax fraud, you go to prison.
That's not. Don't use that, dude. We all do that.
But like when you've done your time and kind of
Right.
you're back to
Yeah.
normal again. And I think it's
You
very
should be.
important that
If you've been rehabilitated or you've ceased the behavior, a good example, if you know who Michael Vick is, he's the perfect example, in my opinion, of somebody deserving of support after, or just to be forget. He went into 2 years in jail. If you have no idea what that is, especially as a black man, especially as a black athlete, away from yeah, you do your time and you come out, and then the opposite of it is when you do something terrible, like and Venom from Green Rabbit, and then you come out and then you just continue to con and lie, and you're the same person. You just found a different venue to do it in. Like, no, I'm taking your criminal record into account here and saying you're a scumbag. I don't know if that's wrong.
So that's exactly what I'm thinking of. If it's like, yeah, do your time and prove that you're a better person, then it should go up again.
Yeah, I would have to ask Jaws. I know that I don't know too much about the actual algorithm. I know this was 0 to 1, and it's definitely like it's got a really high precision. Like I think it spit out like maybe 9 or 10 to the right. And
I think, yeah, as you said, like
what he thought would be like the cutoff, and so I colored. I did anything 4 or lower. I put in red. 5 to 7 was yellow. The giveaway wallet, the cloud giveaway wallet, was at like a 5 right in the middle. And as a service, I mean, I guess this is an opportunity to do further plugs, right? So if y'all didn't know this, NFTG and Change Champs are working on several projects. One of them being Connect 3, which will be like the equivalent of like a Morales or Alchemy, but for the chains that don't have it, like Wax. Your two options are public APIs and rate limiting, or run your own node. And the latter is usually, I mean, it's pricey, especially if you don't know how to set it up and you have to pay somebody. Like it's gonna be at least like, I don't know, I'd say like 700 to $1,000 just to get started, and sometimes that's cost prohibitive, right? And there's what are the options? Like there aren't any. Every other chain has options, right? Well, no, there will be options. I mean, there are options now. It's Connect 3, and so yeah, it's got a wait list. You can see it's streaming our tweets. He went to a conference and like I had more done, but it wasn't ready to go. So I covered it all up and I just left this sexy looking clock that just perpetually stays at 4:44. And
I think both of these are things that I'm going to probably look at implementing. At least the trust score is very nice, and make an aggregate of that, because for us that's perfect. And like, so maybe I should talk with you and Jaws from Change Champs.
Yeah, dude. I trust Jaws' technical expertise like explicitly. The dude's a fucking genius, undeniably. And
I think also it's nice that we're kind of we're working on the same thing, but we're not working on the same thing. So like I have like,
even if we were like, man, we got to let that shit go, man. I think that's been to the detriment of the chain. Sorry, for so long, like IP, like protecting. Like I get it. Trust me, I get it. We applied for a trademark for Connect 3, right? But the fact that you can't find
competition is good, is what I think. Yeah. But I'm thinking more like it's cool that we're all working on something that can be used together, and
right.
Instead of us going on each other's toes, it's like, all of these together trying to make a bigger whole for everything.
That's how you win, dude.
And that's fortunate.
I'm telling you,
in a way.
That's like my whole the crux of everything that we're doing is trying to get like the things that you need to build available and accessible and easy to use. Even going as far, CS Sully, right? Dude that's got easily over 100 viewers at any point when he's on Twitch, right? Always pumping Funko. On Twitter's like, does anybody know of I just want a simple website like a WordPress or something, and I want to be able to log into my wallet. And so I went looking into it, and if I had more time, I would have taken that task on, right? But it's kind of silly that we don't. Like, how many sites run on WordPress? Like, dude, there's a lot of sites on WordPress, and that's like the default between like Wix and I don't know, a couple others that non-tech people go to. Why don't we have a plugin on there, right? I bet you there's Solidity ones,
There are.
So, Boss King, do you keep winning this somehow? Shucky. So yeah, dude. Which is the bigger one? Sending the kills, the big one. Chucky gets the collector's edition. Yeah,
That's a nice one.
Boom, Chucky. I hope you
Nice.
appreciate and play the shit out of this because Pixie-Gon is awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, it's going to be very exciting to see what we can do with Prism, and especially when I combine it with all of the stuff that you're doing. And
yeah,
the
dude,
two of us are going to talk a lot about it, and just as I said, like,
I don't know if
even if I don't.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Even though I don't win this election for OIG, I'm still going to keep doing what I think is best for Vax, and I know you are going to do the same.
Yeah,
I think that's how we make Vax thrive. Just keep making cool stuff, keep improving it in any way that we can.
Right. Yeah, hell yeah. Alcy, I saw you say something where you said you hadn't seen it in WCW. So it's in the actual code. Like you have to go get it. And I haven't seen anybody go get it yet. It's there. It's in the GitHub docs. If you have a
the normal GitHub Vax,
yeah, and so. Yeah, but Alcy, don't worry. In like 10, I don't know, like an hour. I'm not going to quote it because what's his name said I got to stop quoting times on deliverables. But sometime in the very near future, I'll be done with this and it'll be deployed, and y'all will be able to go check your trust score. Now, yeah, I can run. Alcy, do you want me to run yours for you right now? I can do it from Postman. Hold on. It's SXAH4, I think, right? I remember that. The one we're running. Ooh. .78. That's a great number. I like it.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that's the one I put in there. That's not bad. I wonder what you're getting dinged on, though. All right, one more.
And this is something I can just hook up to a little bit.
I'll run some. I don't think Jaws will get mad promoting the product on stream. Let's see what Cash Money GM is. That's one that's suspicious, right? Cash Money. Ooh, he's the current leader with 0.794. What's yours, Anders? Do you have a WAM or an Anchor wallet?
I have both, but we can do my WAM wallet, which is I I think I'm cooking my phone. That's fun. MD1QW.vam.
Yeah, here we go. You'll start starting these now. Well, say that one more time.
I'm gonna. If you had used Pixel Prism, you could just easily look it up.
Oh snap!
Like I did. Like
I know. I
Come on.
get. You told me I have it, right?
yeah, you can.
I'll go get it, dude. Sometimes you have to drag me to my destination because I just won't get there if you don't.
Yeah, you should send me a faceplate. I don't know.
I know, dude. We should have been the goddamn first faceplate there was.
Yeah.
Doing all
I'm
this other
talking,
art. Did you see this amazing artwork that I did for just today? But I can't do a faceplate. Are you kidding me? Like,
fantastic.
look, I took the vector art off of OIG and I turned it into a wood and metal sculpture and did not use AI, not one bit. And it took me hours, but I can't make a fucking faceplate. So it's pathetic.
I'm gonna talk with Kitty about it, or we already
Please.
are. We're just circumventing you.
That's probably best. All right, it's PIXYBON. And you gotta have to
your
send
profile.
me.
Whoa,
All right,
you
got it.
one follower.
Chat. Let me knock the. Say again. One follower.
Yeah, that's me. I'm following you.
That's unacceptable. All right, here's the first one. Anders is a damn. And now the leader. Oh wait, 0.8118. Let's see. K first next with
I'm not suspicious.
GZV4A that wham 78 48.
Hold on. Be right back.
And yeah, yours was stupid high. Life Luther, I don't know why. You somehow figured out how to crack the code.
Someone just woke up. See if I have to run, but
Wait, that can't be right. So Vemp, this is what you asked for here? Foxtrot Mike 42 whiskey Charlie wham. So I'm guessing that this is a known bad actor and not your wallet. Right.
Oops.
Well, let's take a look. Yeah, I don't want to post it. It's like scary low. I'll post it. I don't care. I asked Jaws what the what he would consider like for a streamer, just doing giveaways. Where would he put the threshold at? And he said, between their team, it's kind of a debate. Some say 5. He says 4. And I said, well, yeah, dude. I mean, like I was literally looking at 5s pop on the giveaway wallet, and it was probably because it does weird shit because it's a giveaway wallet. Now this is Pop and Stack. You're good, dude. You got a 0.75.
Kid is waking up and trying to find her superhero bag.
Yeah, there's this new Unity beta that I was invited to also that and I'm not a Unity dev. Like I was talking with Josh about it and like where to get started. And Like I can't believe that I'm afraid. Like I feel like I did about JavaScript like 15 years ago. Like I'm nervous and afraid of it, but I shouldn't be because I know that I've picked up so many things, and it does get easier, because
Well,
all just
with
programming.
Unity beta, are you
Yeah.
into?
So it's the Croquet. Do you know what Croquet? I'll have to show it to you. Croquet is the quote unquote metaverse OS. I believe it's what most projects like Sandbox and whatnot are built on, where you have like the. I mean, if you were to go to Croquet, CRO, I mean, I'm sure I have it saved in here. Yeah, .io. Like as soon as it loads up, you'd be like, "Yeah, I've seen this shit before." Unity has a whatever you would call it now for it, and they say the dude that sent me the email, he called it pure magic, right? And so I don't believe in magic, and so if he's telling me it's pure magic, then I need to check this out because I didn't think magic was a thing. But yeah, so this is nothing special. This is just a 3D, but it's more about the connections, the simultaneous connections. I know that there's an SDK for JavaScript that uses solid.js because of its reactivity. And Astro is what I build in because it's balls fast and uses the two of those. And I don't know. I have a good feeling that that's the direction that Web3 is going. And I also think that WASM is going to be like a major piece of the Web3 puzzle along with AI. I mean, obviously AI, that's a no-brainer. Everything's going to be AI, but I think we can get to like true DAO. Like DAO is a made-up word. Like it's contradictory. Like you cannot be decentralized and autonomous right now. It's impossible. There's no way to do it. You have to have some sort of hierarchy, right? And that hierarchy is a person with biases and opinions, and it's not supposed to have that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think in terms of the Croquet thing, I'm a Unity dev and I've never heard of it.
Yeah, I'll send you the.
There's a lot of people that
private.
keep.
Send me your email in private chat, and I'll just forward it over. Because I think I think it might even be something that you want to look at with Prism, dude.
Yeah.
I've spent so much time, like just months, I'm a firm believer that the future of Web3 is not in 2014 tech, i.e. React. Like I don't think it's I mean, I still code in it and I love it. I don't think it's the long-term answer. It'll obviously always be around, just like jQuery. We can't get rid of that, but I think the real Web3 games are not going to be React. They're going to be other shits. All right, here we go. 30 seconds, and we're getting in there. We're probably getting like super nerdy for the audience now, too.
There's so many people doing this. Like this is what I was doing in the old company. This isn't really anything very new.
What are you looking at?
Croquet.
Oh, right. Yeah. So I think they've been around for a while.
I think that's you.
But I know that the Unity integration is new. And so here's the thing: is like I don't even know Unity dev well enough to know if something was marketably improved or not.
This doesn't. Well, I've made things that are better than this. This isn't very good.
Oh, everyone should go try to. Did Sandy text you also, Mousy? He did text me too. I got a bunch of missed texts from him. He's probably like, "Why aren't you on Threads yet?"
Because I don't want psychopaths stealing all my data.
Yeah, that's the wrong macro. That's gonna screw things up.
if Croquette is so big, there's only 2 people there. So many people like keep boosting up things as if it's the biggest shit ever, and it's
well. So that's what every tenured dev has said that when I was like, "Yo, have you checked out Astro?" And they're like, "Yeah, that'll be gone." Like, but it's different. And so is I asked Wapaka, and I brought him on stream, and he was having some problem with you and Nuxt, and I think maybe either Wharf Kit or the other older package. I told him, I said, listen, if you come on stream and I take your code that's in Vue and I put it in Astro and I get it to work, you'll build on Astro. And I didn't succeed, but I got close enough to, like, I got further than he did, and I code like an idiot on the stream anyway. Lex Luthor, big winner. I'm gonna have to send you a ticket, Lex. I'll send you the Pixigon thing later. All right. I feel like we're just kind of rambling about nonsense now.
It's late.
Yeah. Let me get these tickets out, and we'll get these guys over to their next destination. I'm going to get back to work getting the site online, so y'all can just look at your own scores and then send hate mail to not me, because I didn't make up the scores. Obviously, any questions you direct to their Discord, they have a channel for it, and there is an appeals process and all that. And like you asked, they will drop off. I think it goes back like 2 months or so. Out of nowhere, a challenge that didn't have with the rag was to connect an external Nexus source. I don't know what a Nexus source is. The Nexus source. I don't know that I've ever heard that term. It's a hair product, isn't it? Nexus.
It's the mod community for Skyrim and the Elder Scrolls games.
Oh.
I don't know if that's the thing here.
That's also a hair product too. I think it's got 2 X's though. Pegarissimo, if you send me like a code pen or something, and maybe just explain it, it's possible that I can help you out. Yeah, send me a code block. I'd be happy to look at it for you, man. I'm no expert, but if I don't know the answer, I could probably find the person who does. All right, Anders, what do you got for these people, man? They have the voting site, right?
I hope so.
You can vote in several places. One of them is oig.wax.io.
I like the any observation voting site.
Yeah. NEOs, go vote. We got to do better than the numbers that we did last time. And I'm not even screaming and throwing a temper tantrum this time like I was. And so I feel like we don't want that to ever be the case again. So yeah, go vote, go.
Yeah, just vote, god damn it. And there's a lot of as yes, the I voted NFT. I was considering if we should do like a I voted faceplate, but I don't know.
Interesting. You should definitely commemorate the event. You can use the artwork that I sent, that I did also. You feel free.
I was just about to go to suggest.
We got to get Kafer on the other side of it though. That'd make it hella dope. And that's a fucking NFT right there. Baller. All right, man. I don't have really anything. I want to get back to coding and fixing this site up. And what's today? What day of the week is today? Saturday?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Something like that.
I
It's
got a
Sunday
whole
now.
weekend with no responsibilities, but just dev. So, all right. Love you guys. Remember to please be kind to your fellow human because you never know what they're going through. And we super appreciate you coming out to support Anders, Kafer, Coleman, OIG, Wax, and the community, and of course, NFTG. And we'll see you on Monday. Monday's probably going to be a big episode because I hope, knock on wood, get a lot done this weekend. So y'all might see some cool shit. Love you, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.